Sophie, I want to read you a sentence today, a real one, sent in a real email by a real B2 learner to her real client. And I want you to feel what happens inside you as I read it.
Okay, brace yourself, audience. Go.
I was just wondering if perhaps you might possibly have a moment when you have the chance to maybe take a look at the document I sent, if that would not be too much trouble for you.
Wow.
Wow.
Let me count what just happened. Just, wondering, perhaps, might, possibly, maybe, if that would not be too much trouble for you. 6 different ways of saying, I am sorry I exist, packed into one sentence.
And here's the painful part. The sender thought she was being polite, professional, respectful. She had spent years building this style. Every email she sent looked like this, stacked with qualifiers, buried in apologies, wrapped in modal verbs that softened every single word.
And the clients on the other end read this and thought, is everything okay with her? Why does she sound so unsure of herself? Is she going to deliver? Should I be worried?
Because here is the truth that almost no English course teaches. In modern global business, over-politeness does not signal respect. It signals lack of confidence. And in professional settings, lack of confidence is one of the most damaging impressions you can make.
And the learner has no idea. She thinks the formality is protecting her, but it is silently undermining her every email she sends, every meeting message she writes, every client communication she crafts is quietly broadcasting, I don't fully trust myself.
And the truly painful part is this is one of the most common patterns in advanced English learners, especially those who learned formal English in school, especially those who work with native speakers, especially those who are trying their hardest to come across as polished and professional.
The harder they try to sound professional, the weaker they sound. The more polite they are, the less authority they project. The more they apologize, the more they shrink in the eyes of the reader.
And today, we're going to take this apart. We're going to show you the specific patterns that turn polite English into subservient English. We're going to give you the simple, powerful swaps that transform subservience into assertive clarity. And we're going to give you a role play of a weak email becoming a confident one, so you can see line by line exactly what to change in your own writing.
Welcome to Side by Side English Podcast. I'm Sophie.
I'm Mark. Today is for the B2 or C1 learner who writes professional English daily and has the nagging suspicion that their messages are not landing the way they want, who has been told to be polite and now wonders if they have gone too far, who wants to sound confident and authoritative without sounding rude. This episode is going to give you the exact toolkit.
Stay with us. We have the modal stacking diagnosis, the framework of subservience versus assertive clarity, the 4 sabotage patterns to identify in your own writing, the transformation swaps to use immediately, a role play of a weak email becoming a confident one, and a word tour with 6 powerful B2 to C1 words.
Quick comment question before we begin. Be honest. Do you start your professional emails with, I was just wondering if you could possibly? Drop a yes or no. We want to see how common this pattern is.
Okay, let's fix this together. So, Mark, let's start with the central diagnosis. What is modal stacking, and why is it the heart of this problem?
Okay, modal verbs in English are words like could, would, might, may, should. They're useful. They allow you to soften requests, express uncertainty, and add nuance. In moderation, they're essential to polite professional communication.
And in moderation, no one has a problem with them.
No one. The problem is what happens when learners stack them, pile them on top of each other, use multiple modals in a single sentence, combined with other softening words like just, perhaps, maybe, possibly, kindly, until the actual request is buried under 5 layers of qualification.
And every layer of qualification beyond a certain point doesn't add politeness, it subtracts confidence. The reader feels each layer as a small signal of insecurity. By the time they reach the end of the sentence, the cumulative effect is, this person is not sure of themselves.
Which is a problem, because in professional context, the reader is trying to figure out, often unconsciously, whether they can trust you to deliver, to handle responsibility, to represent them, to move the work forward. And every signal of insecurity, it makes them slightly less sure.
So the over-polite email accidentally tells the reader, I am not someone you can rely on with certainty, which is the exact opposite of what the writer wanted to communicate.
And let me name the framework we're going to use today. Two registers, subservience and assertive clarity.
Subservience first. Define it.
Subservience is the register of over-politeness, the register where the writer is constantly minimizing themselves, apologizing for taking up space, hedging every statement, stacking modals, softening every word, always positioning themselves as the lower party in the exchange, begging for time, attention, response.
And assertive clarity?
Assertive clarity is the register of confident professional communication, the register that respects both parties as equals, that states what is needed clearly, that values both your time and their time, that asks directly without apologizing for the asking, that conveys respect through clarity, not through self-erasure.
And this is the central insight of today's episode. Assertive clarity is more respectful than subservience, not less, because assertive clarity respects the reader's time, their intelligence, and their professional standing, while subservience wastes their time, condescends to their intelligence, and accidentally insults their professionalism by suggesting they need to be approached with extreme deference.
Yes, subservience often feels respectful, but actually disrespects the reader. Assertive clarity feels direct, but actually shows the highest respect.
And this is the reframe that learners need to internalize. Once they do, the impulse to stack modals and apologize starts to feel uncomfortable because they realize the over-politeness is not generosity. It is a quiet form of disrespect.
Let's actually name the 4 specific sabotage patterns that turn polite English into subservient English. Because if you can spot these patterns in your own writing, you can start to remove them.
Yes, 4 patterns.
Pattern 1, modal stacking.
This is the main one, using 2 or 3 modals in one sentence. I was wondering if you could possibly maybe send me. I think it would be probably best if we might consider. Every additional modal weakens the statement. The reader feels each one as an unnecessary hedge.
Fix. Use 1 modal at most. Could you send me? I think it would be best if we consider. Sometimes no modal. Please send me. I think we should consider.
Pattern 2. Apologetic openings.
Sorry to bother you. Sorry for taking your time. Sorry to be a nuisance. Apologies for the intrusion. When you open an email with an apology, you frame yourself as a problem the reader has to deal with, even when the email is completely reasonable, like a question they would gladly answer. You have positioned yourself as a burden before they've even read your actual content.
Fix. Replace the apology with neutral or appreciative openings. Thanks for taking a look. Hope you're doing well. Hi, James. Quick question for you. None of these position you as a burden. All of them respect the reader without making yourself small.
Pattern 3. Excessive minimizers.
Minimizers are words like just, only, a little, a quick, a small. Used occasionally, they're fine. Used constantly, they signal that you don't believe your own message is important enough to send. I just wanted to ask a quick question, if that's okay, about a small detail.
Fix. Trust the importance of your own message. If you're asking a question, it's a question. It doesn't need to be just a quick small question. It can simply be a question. Or better, no qualifier at all, just the question itself.
Pattern 4. Apologizing for taking time.
Sorry for the delay. Apologies for the late response. Sorry I didn't get back to you sooner. These are the most common email phrases in the world, and they're subtly damaging because every time you apologize for being slow, you frame yourself as someone who is consistently slow, reinforcing a negative image, even when the delay was perfectly normal.
Fix. Reframe the apology as appreciation. Thank you for your patience. This single swap is transformative. It says everything an apology would say, but positions you as gracious and confident instead of defensive and apologetic. And it positions the reader as someone admirable for waiting instead of someone wronged by your delay.
4 patterns: modal stacking, apologetic openings, excessive minimizers, apologies for time. Together, they account for almost all of the subservience that creeps into advanced learners' emails.
And once you can spot them, you can start to remove them, one pattern at a time, until your professional writing has been transformed.
Let's give the audience the specific swap toolkit, the phrase-by-phrase transformations from subservience to assertive clarity, because seeing it concretely is what makes it click.
Yes, let me list the most important ones.
Swap 1. Instead of sorry for the delay, say thank you for your patience.
Swap 2. Instead of I was wondering if you could possibly, say could you or simply please.
Swap 3. Instead of sorry to bother you, say quick question or hope you're well.
Swap 4. Instead of I just wanted to check in, say checking in or following up on.
Swap 5. Instead of if it's not too much trouble, say when you have a moment.
Swap 6. Instead of I hope this is okay, say let me know if you have any questions.
Swap 7. Instead of I'm so sorry to keep asking, say one more thing on this.
Swap 8. Instead of kindly do the needful, which is a phrase a lot of learners use, but which native business English does not use, simply say, could you take care of this, or please handle this when you can.
Swap 9. Instead of please let me know if there's anything I can possibly do to help, say happy to help if you need anything.
Swap 10. Instead of I would be very grateful if you could possibly send me, say could you send me, or I need.
10 swaps, and each one transforms a moment of self-erasure into a moment of confident, professional communication. None of them are rude. All of them are warm. All of them are appropriate for any modern global business context.
And once learners internalize these swaps, something powerful happens to their writing. The cumulative effect is that every email they send carries authority, not arrogance, authority. The sense that the writer knows their value and respects the reader.
Which is exactly what makes someone look like a serious professional, not the apology, the clarity.
Okay, let's do a role play. Mark, set the scene.
Yes, I'm going to read a typical subservient email. Then we'll transform it sentence by sentence into assertive clarity so learners can hear the difference in real time.
Okay, let's do it.
Here's the original email, sent to a colleague about a meeting that needs to be moved. Dear James, I hope this email finds you well. I'm so sorry to bother you with this. I was just wondering if perhaps you might possibly be able to maybe reschedule our meeting on Thursday if that would not be too inconvenient for you. I know you are very busy and I really hate to ask. If it's not possible, please don't worry about it. Sorry again for taking up your time. Many thanks and kind regards, Maria.
And let me count what just happened in that email. Apologetic opening, modal stacking, minimizers, excessive politeness, apology for asking, apology for time. The actual content of the email, the request to move the meeting, has been buried under 8 different layers of self-erasure.
And the reader, James, opens this email and feels 3 things. First, slight confusion about why Maria is apologizing so much. Second, slight irritation at having to read so much filler. And third, a quiet doubt about whether Maria projects the confidence the team needs.
Now let me rewrite the same email in assertive clarity. Hi, James. Hope you're doing well. Could we move Thursday's meeting? If you have any time on Friday, that would work great on my end. Let me know what works for you. Thanks, Maria.
And listen to the transformation. Same request, same person, but this email respects James' time, states the request clearly, offers a solution, invites his input, and closes warmly. No apology, no self-erasure, no begging.
And James reads this and feels 3 completely different things. First, gratitude that Maria respected his time. Second, clarity about exactly what she needs. Third, confidence that she handles things professionally.
Same Maria, same request. 2 completely different impressions created by one simple shift from subservience to assertive clarity.
And the cumulative effect when applied to every email Maria sends is enormous. Over a year, her professional reputation transforms, not because her work changes, because her writing finally projects the competence she actually has.
Word tour?
Word tour. First word, subservience. Subservience is the quality of being overly submissive, willing to obey, treating yourself as lower than the other person. It is a precise, useful word for the pattern we have been describing. Most over-polite professional English is technically subservient English.
For example,
Subservience in professional emails accidentally damages your authority because it positions you as a lower party in every interaction. Repeat, subservience.
Subservience.
Next, to hedge. To hedge means to add cautious qualifying language that softens a statement and reduces commitment. Modal stalking is a form of excessive hedging. Hedging in moderation is useful. Hedging stacked on hedging becomes weak.
For example, advanced learners often hedge every statement so much that the original message gets buried under the qualifications. Repeat, hedge.
Hedge. Next, assertive. Assertive means confident, direct, willing to express what you want or believe without aggression. It is the opposite of both passive and aggressive. It is the professional sweet spot.
For example, the goal is not to be aggressive in your emails. It is to be assertive, which is the register of confident professional clarity. Repeat, assertive.
Assertive. Next, clarity. Clarity is the quality of being clear, easy to understand, unambiguous. In professional communication, clarity is one of the most valued qualities, and subservience is the enemy of clarity because it adds layers of filler that obscure the real message.
For example, the reader's brain rewards clarity above almost everything else, which is why an assertive, direct email lands better than an over-polite, tangled one. Repeat, clarity.
Clarity. Next, to erode. We've used this word before, but it applies perfectly to what subservience does over time. Every apologetic email, every stocked modal slowly erodes the impression of authority that your work has built. The damage is gradual but real.
For example, years of subservient emails can erode the professional standing of even the most competent worker without them ever realizing what is happening. Repeat, erode.
Erode. And finally, authority. Authority is the quality of commanding trust, influence, and respect. We talked about this in an earlier episode, but it is the heart of today's content too. Assertive clarity preserves and builds authority. Subservience pliantly destroys it.
For example, the way you write your daily emails has a much bigger effect on your perceived authority than any single big presentation because the daily impressions accumulate over time. Repeat, authority.
Authority.
6 words today: subservience, hedge, assertive, clarity, erode, and authority.
Every one of them is a real, modern, useful English word that captures something specific about the dynamics of professional communication and impression.
And every one of them is a word that you can use in real professional conversations, especially in conversations about communication, leadership, and writing.
Sophie, one final takeaway for everyone watching?
That the over-polite emails you have been writing for years have not been protecting your image. They have been quietly damaging it. The modal stacking, the apologies, the minimizers, the excessive hedging, all the things you were taught were polite are reading as weakness in modern global business contexts. And the reader, on the other end, is forming impressions of you that do not match who you actually are.
And the fix is not to become rude. The fix is to swap subservience for assertive clarity, to trust that your message has value, to trust that your time has value, to trust that the reader is a professional adult who can handle a direct request without being apologized to respect both of you through clarity instead of self-erasure.
And the version of you who currently writes long, layered, apologetic emails is not the version that represents your true professional capability. That version is a survival strategy, a way of trying to protect yourself by shrinking. Once you replace it with assertive clarity, the real you starts to show up in your writing, the competent you, the confident you, the you who is worth listening to.
Small challenge before we go. For the next 7 days, before you send any professional email, do a quick scan. Count the modal verbs, count the apologies, count the minimizers like just and perhaps and maybe. If you find more than 2 in any single email, you are in subservience territory. Remove them, cut them, replace with the swaps we shared today.
And notice what happens. Notice how the email looks shorter. Notice how it reads stronger. Notice how it actually feels more professional, not less. Notice how the reader, when they respond, responds faster and more directly because clarity invites clarity and confidence invites confidence.
And after 7 days, drop a comment. Tell us what you cut. Tell us how your colleagues responded. Tell us if anyone noticed the change. We want to hear what shifted.
because the moment a learner realizes their over-polite emails were sabotaging them and replaces the subservience with confident clarity, the entire professional impression they project starts to upgrade. Not over months, over weeks, because the daily emails are so frequent that the cumulative shift is fast.
I'm Mark.
I'm Sophie. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being willing to look at a habit that has likely been costing you for years.
Trust your message. Drop the apology. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.